Good evening, all. Ira Epstein, and here we are with your Spider ETF stock market wrap-up, and this wrap-up is for the evening, as we're here now on Thursday, the 7th of November, 2024, and what an interesting day. Today we had two banks, the Bank of England and the Federal Reserve, set up what they did on their monetary policy, and both cut rates by a quarter point. Both are worried about fiscal spending because under Chancellor Reeves in the UK, she wants to really launch some massive programs to stimulate the economy, get things going. Makes sense, but who's going to pay for that and how's it going to be paid for? And the tool to stop the inflationary pressure wouldn't be breaking rates there, it'd be raising them. Well, does it sound a lot different than what's going to happen in the United States under President-elect Trump? He wants to spur the economy right along. He wants lower interest rates. He's got all kinds of programs he's throwing, tax cuts galore coming in here, freedom, regulation coming off. Will it create inflation? And does it stop the Fed? I do think so. I think the Fed, if it's lucky, can get another 90 basis points out of this next year, maybe ending out. Today they ended up around 4.75 in the interest rate zone. I think they'll be lucky to get to 3.5. And I use the word lucky. I don't see it going much lower than that because we're going to see another period of growth, at least the first year, in my opinion, under President-elect Trump. So it's going to be an interesting time. I happen to think you're going to still see the market continue to roar. You're up to 6,005 tonight in the S&P in the futures. So we've breached that 6,000 level. Let's applaud it. It's a major, major event. And now you'll hear talk of 6,200 by year end. You see how you finished up here with all them, other than the Russell down, which is sort of strange to me when I look at it, because in the futures contracts, that's the one that looks like it wants to break out the most to the upside. Uranium came back today. That's good news, all right? What does it mean? Well, you know, now that you know who's the president, I happen to think that President Trump isn't going to be anti with all this the way that the Biden administration has been. I think you're going to see changes, and I think the market is realizing that. It makes sense. Rivian came out after the market with bigger losses. Now they're losing $9,000 on average in automobile. They expect to turn a profit this quarter because of the radicalization done at the plant. And now they think that they're going to get, just in some of the cost of the car, 20% reduction. So this becomes very important. When asked about that part that's been missing to where they had to cut production, they think they have solved that. They're talking high about the next version of the car, a $50,000 SUV that'll come out for 2026. They badly need it. They looked at the amount of money they've got. They had about $8 billion on hand, but that doesn't include the $4 billion they're going to get from Volkswagen. And when you look at the burn per period that they're doing, they're probably okay financially, probably, still don't know. They've got to start delivering the numbers that they say. I love seeing them here in America, in the United States, and given they're built in Normal, Illinois, it's not all that far away. We've got a university there, in fact, and it was interesting to see what's going on. Now's the time they have to prove that what they've been talking about for the fourth quarter materializes. Amazon up again. I'm pissed at myself. Wanted to own this going into the Thanksgiving, Christmas period. Still do, waiting on breaks for that to come in if they do. Love Netflix still. I mean, you know, you want to own the kings of everything. You want to own Uber, but Lyft is coming alive recently. Pay attention to the difference. It's closing the gap very nicely there. And of course, everybody's looking at Tesla. And here it is about to breach the 300 level. So as that goes higher, ARK goes with it to a degree. A market that can't get away from itself has been AMC. I'm waiting to see these new type of facilities that they claim are going to bring people in. I give all fairness to it. The problem with AMC and owning it is you get diluted every 6 months. They have to get more money out, more debt out. It's just not the place to be. So when we look at RSP, the big thing I want to occur is to fill this gap in the chart. I don't know if it'll allow that. I'm not claiming I know if that'll allow it. The pattern is one where you often do that. You've got a lower low and a higher high. You jumped the 18-day average. You jumped right into the highs that you've made here. And you've gone on to new highs. I mean, what can you say? But you're also up at that upper Bollinger Band. And as a student of that and somebody that really preaches Bollinger Bands, that is your resistance point. Does not mean you can't push on it and go higher. That's not what it's about. What it's about is that's where pros are taking some money off the table. And if the market turns down more, then they'll look at that gap area, in my opinion, and you're overbought. Any stochastic reading that's got a 7 in it without both numbers being over 80 is overbought. Once they get over 80, then you're looking at patterns that develop like this, and that's normally combined with the market going up normally. In Qualcomm, we ran up for the first time to the 100-day average. The 200-day right here where I'm pointing, and the Bollinger Band, and bam, you ran into the brick wall. That doesn't mean it's bullish or bearish. Support's back here. You're neither right here. You've got a higher high and lower low in that. CrowdStrike I like. I've made mention of that. I was hoping it would hang more here, that we could have done something. I'm fearful that's getting away from us, but it is overbought. And in uranium, this is where I thought the market, if it was going to bounce, would go back and fight a battle. And I've given you, I think, the reasons why. I think under the Trump administration, it's going to be a very different look at how you work with some of these existing nuclear facilities to get business done. Remember, you're dealing with a president that is very pro-business, not as pro-green as you think. Higher lows, higher highs, KWEB. We're all waiting like this now. Probably tonight, via the time differences, China is going to release whatever this 4-day program is to spur on their economy. Is it enough? I know that you saw the overtures coming out of foreign leaders today. One of them, the finance ministers coming out of China. And they very much want to sit down and talk with the Trump administration, because I think they realize this isn't the guy that talks, this is the guy that delivers the tariffs. And they're looking at 60% tariffs. They're looking at Europe tariffing them. They're looking at Canada. And with this president leading the parade on tariffs, he's talking that big number. It is time for China to decide how much Western business they think they can get, because on a number of products, could be all of them, you're going to get big taxes. Got to keep your eye on that in terms of the tariff. I said tax. It's a tariff. Supposedly there's a difference. It's a tax on us at the end of the day. Whenever I hear that and they go, well, the prices are higher, you're not paying it. Really? Okay. I still need that component. It's made in China. It just went up 60%. I'm not paying it? Are you giving me back like in a VAT tax the money? I don't think so. K-Web, that's what you're battling with. So Toll Brothers, this is impressive. You know, to me, they are like the Ubers, the best, Amazon's the best of the retailers out there, NVIDIA. Toll Brothers is the capital, if you will, the best homes, quote unquote. The most expensive might be the way to say it too. And they have come up here. And that's with the market that today said that mortgages are at 6.79% for a standard 30-year. That's getting pretty expensive. It isn't 7.5% that it was a year ago. That part I get it. But how many people qualify at that number as home prices have just gone up? So if you look at where they were, while you're down 3/4 of a point from a year ago, why is nobody mentioning that home prices haven't gone down? They seem to go up every time I look, a couple of percent each month. I mean, that seems to be what's happening. XHB, a little different, ran up to the resistance here. But this is in an uptrend with a bias down. It's got to close over 118.81 to say it's getting friendly. When we look at the financial services, I expected a pullback. This is one of those numbers, by the way, that I have in the portfolio that my subscribers in the morning open trades that they're looking at this point. I don't know if they're in them, but it's what we recommended. Lower low, higher high. I expect to pull back into the Bollinger Band. Wouldn't mind if it filled some of the gap there. Industrial sector up to the band. You've got this gap. So there's so much in that gap over the past 48 hours because of the Trump victory that somewhere along the line you find a way to often fill those. And that's what I'm hoping. Fingers crossed. Hoping gets filled. I see big support in the energy here. Another one of these markets that I'm looking at and salivating. Get down there. Let me get involved in it, because under Trump, the energy market's very different than under Biden. Very different. And if I'm Iran, my knees are hitting. I'm wondering, what is this guy got in store for me? You may think I'm joking. I'm not joking. GLD, lower highs, lower lows, coming in right through there. Silver market, same thing. So this part there, but today, if you looked at the weekly charts, there were reasons to buy GLD on it, and in the futures, the gold futures. That doesn't mean I'm going to be right, but I'll share with you, that's what I was telling my subscribers in the morning. You don't get those things. You've got to go to the website, iraepstein.com, under the word research, and that's where that's all at. Take a look at those and you'll see what I'm saying. So here we have a lower low, higher high. But remember, copper was down sharply yesterday, up just as sharply today. If I step back here and give you an example. Yesterday you were down 3.94%. Whoa. And today you're up 5.95%. These aren't little moves. These are pretty big moves on a stock that is only $46. So radical, and this is all again about the China, the first, what happened with Trump, the fear, then the good part today. Oh, China's reaching out. They want to talk about this. And what's their stimulus plan going to be? BND, I hate when traders tell me they want to go short under the first move or long over the first move of a 200-day average. No. That's a one-year average almost. You generally don't fare real well doing that, and you're getting a bounce. You lost your bearish embedded reading, but the goal was that number. So I'd be careful there. You could go higher. In the futures markets, it's different. You don't have the 200 down here. You have the 18-day, which is above the markets as the call there. Then we get to the dollar index. Well, the first move over an upper Bollinger Band when you lost a bullish reading, you own it. I don't want that at this point in time. And here you lost the bearishness and you made your move. Now you're bouncing off the Bollinger Band. That's the way that I'm looking at those markets. Like I said, I'll get to you some reports tomorrow. At a minimum, my 5-minute special report. That'll be on the front page of the website for one day. So you want to check back and forth when that comes on. I know a lot of you set up your YouTube that it'll alert you for that, and that's a smart move to do. We're going to be putting something together now where every time I post, it'll send when you sign up and you're part of our website, members and so on, boom. It'll send you a notice that I just posted that video. We're working on that right now. We're going to get away from text messaging completely using this type of philosophy, avoiding costs galore, and I don't have to raise costs then to pay for that, because everything I do seems to cost more money. Now we're finding ways to get around it. I'm Ira. You have yourself a great evening. I'll catch up with you first thing in the morning.